Have Railcard will travel. I purchased from the Virgin website an advance first-class return ticket to Manchester for £60. Booking ahead, I had to take a chance with the weather, and I was lucky. My rather wild and spontaneous motivation was Kinder Scout. I hadn't been up there since the 1980s. I stayed overnight in the shadow of Kinder at Birch Vale, between New Mills and Hayfield, before setting out on foot, fortified by a full English breakfast, heading resolutely for my chosen mountain, Kinder Scout, 2,087 feet above sea level. Kinder Scout is well known for the mass trespass of 1932, then an illegal act that eventually brought about the creation of national parks, the Peak District being the first in 1951. Today, the Pennine Way National Trail, which was fully opened in 1965, crosses its summit, a route that I plan to take as far as Kinder Downfall. Eventually I reached Edale Cross, which marks the junction of old parish wards. It was originally erected by Cistercian monks in the 12th century and then restored by local farmers in 1810. By now I had done most of the climbing, and after a final pull to the top, I had reached the summit, a plateau littered by gritstone rocks sculptured into weird and fantastic shapes by weather. Fortunately, today things were much calmer. The restored moorland path was reassuring. Unfortunately, it doesn't last. The terrain becomes increasingly rocky and uneven. Kinder Downfall, the highlight, is a huge amphitheatre of weathered gritstone, which in times of wet weather sports a prominent waterfall. Not so today. When I did this walk 30 years ago, the wind coming up the amphitheatre was so strong you could hardly stand, and it blew the water back to the top. I retraced my steps back to Edale Cross, which was not so much a repetitive walk as would appear. When walking uneven terrain, it is not a good idea to look at what is behind you, unless of course you stop. So the views were different. Although I had a train to catch at Edale, I didn't hurry. I found time to include foreground interest, essential for distant views, which were clear, but the distant haze slightly impairing the colour intensity. I kept the camera controls on aperture priority, f8 or 11, and spot metered with the assistance of the electronic finder, and then save to RAW. The lens was the 12-100, no filters, all handheld with the help of the image stabilizers in camera and lens. Therefore, all I had in my rucksack was my lunch, a first aid kit, a pullover, and of course my toothbrush. Back at Edale Cross, I continued on the outward path into Edale, descending via Jacob's Ladder, a stepped path leading to Barber Booth in the valley, before arriving at Edale Station and my train back to Manchester Piccadilly and the comfort of the first-class lounge. This was followed by dinner with wine on the train back to Euston and the joys of the London streets. Wasn't the Pennine Way a few hours ago a much better place to be?